And we're back. This is Hook and Ladder. We are week 4, and what a crazy slate of games yesterday. And let's go and get started.
It's been a crazy season.
Yeah.
There's been some upsets, a lot of upsets. There seems to be a lot more teams in that. I don't want to say yet. Miami's looking good. Ohio State's looking pretty good. Georgia had a good win a couple weeks ago against Tennessee. I don't really see just yet that elite team that's like unbeatable.
Right.
I see a whole mess of teams that if things fall the right way, they're in the playoffs.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead and get started.
Well, first, before we get started, how I just mentioned, all these great teams is making this season a lot of fun. What's making it more fun is the damn old dirty football pool that our good buddy Mitchell has going on. You got to get on the group that we're in. You got to get in that pool. It makes all these games so much more fun. Even the games you don't even care about makes it more fun.
There we go.
Dirt cheap to get in, and it's worth it.
Yes. Well, moving right along. You want to talk about Oklahoma State embarrassing themselves yet again against Tulsa?
Man, I think I mentioned to you last week that just, Gundy's got that Mark Richt feel.
Mm-hmm.
He was always had a good, solid team. Every now and again, he had a real special year. But things now look a little stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some shakeups. They're bad. They weren't that good last year, I don't think. Year before, I think they were pretty good. I think the year before that, they were in the conference championship.
Yes.
They've been on the cusp a few years, and man, it's just stagnant in that program. It's not that they don't have athletes. There's some guys on that roster that can play football, but man, they can't play team football right now, and something's got to change. And I'm not saying the coaching, head coach needs to get canned. Who are you going to bring in?
That's right.
But you got to do something with other coaches, coordinators, and make something happen.
What's crazy to me is, 4 years ago, they're like a yard away from going to the 14 playoff.
Exactly, yeah.
And now they can't even muster a win against Tulsa.
Yeah.
That is a sad state of affairs for the Oklahoma State football program. Let's move into Saturday's games now. LSU.
I watched that Rutgers.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I watched Iowa Rutgers, and it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
I really felt that Rutgers kind of had them where they wanted, and there was some self-inflicted wounds late, and Iowa kind of got the momentum. I'm very surprised to see Iowa scoring 38 points. So
hey, good for them.
Good for the Iowa Hawkeyes getting that offensive juggernaut rolling. But I mean, it was ugly. It was kind of like an ugly game, and like I said, Rutgers had it in hand and some self-inflicted wounds. Let Iowa get back into it, and they scored to go ahead, and then they scored again. Yeah. Made it a little bit more lopsided than it actually was.
That's right. Well, the first two, number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, Penn State and Ohio State, were off on a buys this week.
I don't know what universe we're living in here. That Penn State's number 2 in the country. Ohio State, yep, they've earned it. They won the Natty last year. They come in, and what do? They just beat the number 1 team in the country, which is the Texas Longhorns. They deserve it. But Penn State, my God almighty. Now, they're probably not going to lose a game until they have to play Ohio State, but which I don't recall if that's on the schedule this year.
I don't know.
For them or not.
We'll check and see.
I know that they didn't want to play him. Penn State didn't want to play him. But I don't know what the schedule is. I have to look. But, yeah, how the hell they're in number 2, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, moving right along, LSU knocked off Southeast Louisiana 56-10, kind of what you expect.
Yeah, Nussmeier looked good. He's been kind of banged up all season long, but he looked good. The offense was rolling, I'm sure. Kelly's not going to get the question, what's going on in third downs now. Mm-hmm. Offense looked good, but they should have. Against Southeast Louisiana, They should have looked good.
Absolutely. Miami knocked off Florida 26-7. We watched some of this game.
Yeah, ugly game. Both defenses came to play.
It was raining a bit.
It was, and look, Florida's offense isn't all that good. No. So I don't think, like we saw against LSU last week, I don't think Miami's defense really had a tall task.
Yeah.
To confuse Lagway and get kind of clamped down. But I expect a little bit more from Florida's offense given the performance against LSU the week prior. I figured they'd be ready. Right. But Miami did a great job. But Florida's defense, in my opinion, was the key to this game because Miami had some opportunities to really put this thing out of reach in the first half and couldn't make it happen.
Seems like they were moving the ball from the 20 to the 20. They were moving the ball pretty well.
Yes.
The minute they get in the red zone, they would just get bogged down.
Second half with back through a pick. Beck's having a great season.
Not the best showing for Carson Beck yesterday, but you know what? They won the game.
Yeah, and they did what they had to do. They were able to run the football late. Florida scored a touchdown to make it 13-7 within a touchdown of taking the lead, but Miami kind of just put the foot on the gas with the running game a little bit more. And, Florida's defense was out there a ton. They were kind of getting gas in the game, and the Miami running backs were just gashing them.
That's right.
So good game. Huge rivalry. They say throw the records out the windows. Right. Miami's ranked number 4 in the country. Florida's unranked, but
game day was there. Team. God, Herstreet and Pat McAfee like they were melting on TV.
Yeah, and I heard some Georgia fans today bitching and moaning. Oh, Herstreet mentioned Carson Beck. I mean, it's a huge story in college football. The dude was at Georgia for 5 years? Yeah. Had him in contention for 2 of those 5 years. Yeah. Injury, needed to change his scenery. I don't blame the guy.
No. Moving right along, Oregon knocked off Oregon State 41-7. Kind of what would you expect?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of this game. It kind of was boring.
Yeah. Speaking of another boring game, FSU knocked off Kent State 66-10.
We're just talking about Gus Malzahn quitting. He didn't get fired from UCF. He left and went to be the offensive coordinator at Florida State, thinking might be an easier springboard to another a better head coaching gig. And man, it's paying off for him. I mean, they're rolling up the points.
Yeah. But he's always been a guru of offense.
Yeah, when he's got some good teams, good athletes, he can put up the points.
Yeah. Moving right along, Texas knocked off Sam Houston 55-0.
Yeah, and I kind of had a little issue with this. The video going around social media where Arch Manning runs into the end zone and kind of bowls over the DB, and he sits there and jaws at him in the end zone. It's like if any defender sacked Arch Manning and did that over Arch Manning, it's a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct. Kind of a Bush League play by Manning. I get it. He's in the zone. He had a huge game. They're saying, Arch Manning, got it going. I want to see them play a good team before I'll admit that. But because he hasn't looked good this year. But I thought that was Bush League to stand over the guy and taunt him. No flag, of course, because it's the golden child.
Yeah. Well, moving right along. Indiana embarrasses Illinois 63-10. I don't think either one of us seen this coming.
We didn't. I thought it was going to be much closer. The Flying Jerrys.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it done. It was a real struggle on offense to get anything moving, and that kind of snowballed. Offense couldn't help the defense, and vice versa. When it got to be about 14-7, 21-7, you really needed Illinois' offense to start doing something, get that defense to get them a little bit of rest before they had to come out. But it was like 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. I don't like Indiana. I think the head coach is a giant sack of shit. Can't stand the guy, but man, they got a good-looking football team. I mean, Mendoza's throwing dimes. At one point, he was 23 for 25 and 5 TDs before his brother came in the game. Looking real good. Their running game looks solid. They got good wideouts. They got good tight ends. The defense, don't think the defense is nasty, but they will get after the quarterback. I was shocked that Brett Bielema's team wasn't more physical on the lines of scrimmage. Interesting to see what happens if Indiana's got to play like a Michigan, Penn State, Ohio, one of the better, more physical teams. If they can still run the football, and if the defensive line can get to the passer with just rushing the 4, and then that number 46, that linebacker there is the 5th guy. But they looked good. They looked real good.
It's like the first, top 10 victory they've had in a long
Yeah. I mean, they don't play. I think they play 2 more, I think they play Oregon and I think Michigan, and then that's it. Maybe Penn State. But I looked at their schedule last night. They only have 2 games left that are kind of decent games. I don't really see any potential losses unless something bad happens.
Yeah. Cool. Well, moving on.
Potential losses outside of those 2.
Right.
I'm trying to say.
Let's see. Oklahoma knocked off Auburn 24-17. There was some controversy in this game.
A lot of controversy, man. Auburn got jobbed on 3 calls. Jackson Arnold, and I kind of thought, again, another Bush League thing. Jackson Arnold was a highly ranked recruit coming to Oklahoma. Yeah. Did not have a good season last year. So he bails and goes to Auburn. He's looking pretty good this year. Yeah. Right? Auburn's got some really good wideouts. Yeah. And Jackson Arnold's been running around with the QB run, looking good. He gets there at warm-ups, and the fans are booing the kid. It's like, look, it's not just on him that he didn't have a good season last year. There are other factors involved as well. At one point in time, for like a good section of the season, the top 5 wide receivers for Oklahoma were out. So he's throwing to third-teamers and scout team guys. Not all his fault. I thought that was Bush League that the fans at Oklahoma did that, but I thought, the story of the game was Auburn's defense. Oklahoma had trouble making hay. Auburn's offense was opportunistic. They were hitting deep passes, but they got jobbed on a bunch of the fumble. The scoop and score was reversed. That, to me, looked like a catch. But more egregiously was the pass interference that was not called in Oklahoma, and then the kind of trick play it's blatantly against the rules, and they didn't even call it. I mean, they saw the guy there and didn't call it. And I think the excuse was that they didn't see him there. But when you look at on some of the videos, you can see the ref kind of clearly in view where that guy standing on the sideline. But so Oklahoma lucked out. Of course, they won the game, so the media's going to be like, oh, Oklahoma, big win against a ranked opponent. They should have lost. Auburn should have won that game. And I liked what I saw from Auburn. Yeah. Just like when Oklahoma beat Michigan, I liked what I saw from Oklahoma. I thought Matera could a little bit more dialed in with his touch passes. But in this game, I came out of it thinking, moral victories for Auburn. You played well enough to win that game. You should have won that game. And with the defense playing like the way it did, I expect them to beat some people they're not supposed to beat.
Well, moving right along, Ole Miss knocked off Tulane 45-10. Anything to add?
Just kind of did what they needed to do. Yeah. Same thing with this next one, Tennessee.
Tennessee knocked off UAB 56-24. Texas Tech does it. They knocked off Utah in a pretty dominant fashion.
Yes.
34-10. This was a 9 o'clock game?
This is another one of those games that kind of got out of hand late. It was, I think, 16-10 or something like that. Late in the game, and then a touchdown by Texas Tech. Like a 3-and-out touchdown, and then turnover by Utah leads to another score. It was a really, really good defensive battle for about 3.5 quarters. But Texas Tech, I mean, they put the graphic up there when they announced like the starting lineups. Texas Tech's defense, all 4 D linemen transfer. The 3 linebackers are none of them, and then 2 of the 4 DBs transfers. They brought in so many transfers. We've mentioned it before on this channel. They're really spending a lot of money. NIL transfers last year, and then for this incoming class, which will sign in December, they're spending a ton of money on recruits. They're trying to win now. The quarterback is really sharp. They got a good group of wide receivers. They got a good running back. That defense, though, is nasty. No real big names on it, but just experienced guys who played a lot of football on that defense. And I was surprised that they won like they out-physicaled Utah. Yeah.
Moving right along, Georgia Tech knocked off Temple, winning again, 45-24. Haynes King, 161 yards passing. Just another Haynes King performance.
Another win for Tech. Yep. They should move up into, I'm thinking, top 15 maybe. Tomorrow when the poll comes out, looking good. Best start they've had in a long time. They look like a really difficult team to play. The offense they run, it's not easy to stop that. So you got to make sure that your offense can put up points and kind of just outscore them.
Moving right along, Vanderbilt, the 4-0. Vanderbilt Commodores.
They looked good as well.
Knocked off Georgia State 70-21.
Revenge from last year's loss to Georgia State. They looked really good. I had to laugh listening to a podcast. They're talking about Vanderbilt's team. The offensive lineman got tattoos and like long hair. And you're like, this is not the Vanderbilt of old. Those guys would have been there before.
That's right.
Well, good for them.
That's right. Michigan knocked off Nebraska 30-27.
I watched this game. Disappointing for Nebraska. I thought, Raiola looked good. All right. But I thought he would be, by now, he's a 5-star QB, played every game as a freshman. Yeah. He's a sophomore now. They've got some guys around him. I don't think they're a very good team all around yet, if they will ever get there. Yeah. But I did feel that Raiola This is a Michigan team that's not as good as they've been the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I'm waiting for this kid to just say, I'm going to turn into Dan Marino, John Elway, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, this game, and I'm going to take over the game, and I'm going to win it for our team.
Right.
And, they had an opportunity. I thought Michigan really gave him opportunity with some of the mistakes on the quarterback. He's a true freshman. He's going to make those mistakes, but he's trying to, outrun people. I don't know what he was trying to do down, especially that one play on the goal line where he's like, go to the outside, you got 2 blockers, and you'll score a touchdown standing up. Instead, he tries to get cute and bring it in. He gets drilled. Just inexperience from the kid, and nothing against his talent. But I do think that Michigan this year, if you're going to get Michigan, this is the year to do it. And I really felt Nebraska had a shot. They just couldn't get it done, and I honestly really wasn't that surprised.
Yeah. It's been one of those disappointing programs of late.
Matt Rule's been there a couple of years now.
Yeah.
The money's been thrown at players. You spent a lot of money to get the wideout for I want to say his last name's Key. He's a kid from Kentucky. You spent a lot of money in the portal to get him because you bought him when there were other SEC schools that really, really wanted that kid, and you outspent them. You're spending money to get guys. You took the kid from Missouri, the 5-star, #1 player in the country, the defensive end, and he has registered 2 tackles all year long, and it's just not happening. And sooner or later, if this money being spent doesn't produce wins, Rule's seat's going to get real hot.
Yeah, real fast. Missouri knocked off South Carolina 29-20. Watch some of this game.
I did. Missouri looks good. They're running the football extremely well. Pribula, I can't pronounce the kid's name. The QB, though, is awesome. I love the kid.
Yeah.
I love that kid. He's so much fun to watch. The running backs are great. Super hard to get down. Ahmad Henry, and then the other guy, I think his name is Rogers, is like a 1-2 punch. Henry's a superstar, but man, Rogers came in late and made some plays, scored a touchdown. South Carolina looked good, though. Another one of those teams, kind of like Auburn. They lost the game, but they showed signs of life when they needed it. Offense kind of came around in spurts. The offensive line's not that great. So Sellers was under duress pretty much the whole game. Still threw for over 300. Missed a couple of open guys that would have put the game for them well in hand. Just couldn't make it happen. Couldn't connect. But the wideouts, who were a question coming into the year, played well.
Yeah.
But Missouri, give them credit. They held on at home and got it done. So good for them. Absolutely. They're undefeated.
Yep. 4-0, man. Notre Dame knocked off Purdue 56-30.
Notre Dame's on the win column.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hey, good for them. USC knocked off Michigan State 45-31. Did you stay up for that one?
I watched the first 4 or 5 snaps, and then I fell asleep on the couch.
Sounds about right. How about Memphis knocking off Arkansas?
Yeah, I was
32-31 and a home and home.
Yeah, I was pulling for Arkansas. I think Memphis coach is kind of a dipshit.
Yeah.
But and I love Sam Pittman. All right, yeah. I hate seeing him lose this way because I know he loves Arkansas. Their team is so much better. They're so much more fun to watch. Offensively, they're putting up a lot of points. But 2 weeks in a row, they've been going in for the game-winning touchdown, and their guys have fumbled. And then basically the other team just kind of sits on it because it's last week there was under a minute left. Same thing, it was under 30 seconds left. But I don't understand. They're inside the 10-yard line with under 30 seconds left to go. Get your QB, kneel it in the middle of the field where your kicker wants it. Just do that. But they kept trying to run the football. Homeboy tried to reach it out, popped out, fumble, game over. They were going in for the win. I'll kick a field goal, you win the game. But hats off to Memphis. They knock off an SEC team at home. Yeah. They're looking good, and they'll be able to kind of ride this the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Moving right along, Syracuse knocked off Clemson 34-21. Dabo.
I watched this game, and I was torn because I bet heavily on Clemson. I really thought, all right, so they've got some talented players. I think Klubnik, you saw what he did against Texas last year in the playoffs, right? The running back is number 9. He's really good. He's a big bruiser. They've got a pretty good defense that can keep him in the game, right? I'm okay, they need to win bad. Syracuse has not looked good. I was they're going to win and they're going to cover.
Yeah.
Man, I was wrong. So on the one hand, I was mad because I didn't win the game. But on the other hand, I was happy because Clemson lost. And, Syracuse looked good. They were taking chances. Onside kick to start the game. March down there, score a touchdown. Like, next time they get the ball, they get a touchdown. Quarterback, though, he's out for a while. Got a pretty significant injury. I don't know if he's done for the season yet, but he's out for a good, I'd say, 6 weeks or so. A huge win for Fran Brown in that program. Yes, Clemson is not ranked, but it's still Clemson, right? You go into Clemson, doesn't matter. They're preseason ranked, like top 10 team, playoff contender. Some teams, some media people even picked them to win the national championship. I thought was retarded.
I mean, they're returning a lot of starters.
They did,
and it's just not working out.
You guys were over the house yesterday. I was mentioning, if you look at recruiting rankings, they haven't really been where they need to be, in my opinion, to contend for the playoffs. They are in the ACC, barring Miami this year. They had basically one team to contend with in the recent memory, which is Florida State. They ran the ACC for a long time. They aren't where they need to be to compete for a national title.
And I heard somebody say the other day that Tennessee was the reason why Clemson was just falling down a little bit, just because they're getting more recruits than they were getting prior to Hypo showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of seems to be working out that way.
I don't know what Clemson's NIL is like. I haven't heard them being one to spend a lot of money. They just started taking transfers, and the best defensive player, in my opinion, is the defensive end that was a transfer.
Yeah.
They've got a couple good wideouts and a good running back, but they need more guys. At the transfer portal, you don't build your team with the portal. You fill holes, and there's a lot of holes. And somebody put out on the message boards today, Clemson's coaching staff is like 90% ex-Clemson players, a handful of guys that played at Alabama when Dabo was there. Like Bear Bryant's like grandkid, and you look at it, and it's like, and Sweeney's kid, and a couple other guys' kids. And I think the athletic director's kids, they're all on this coaching staff, all right? Your team's really bad this year. I don't know how that's not a dereliction of duty. It's like nepotism at its finest. Just because you played at Clemson doesn't make you a better coach.
Right.
Bring in some dudes who know what the hell they're doing. You had Venables, and you won a couple of natties with the guy. He goes to Oklahoma, and that defense went with him.
Right.
Bring in somebody there. He's going to have to do something after the season. They're not going to can Dabo.
No.
He's going to have a hell of a press conference tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
But he's got to do something different.
How about North Carolina?
Oh, man.
Losing to Central Florida 34-9. It's not working out for Bill.
I love Bill Belichick. I'm a big fan. Don't like his draft policies. I like him as a coach. I want to see them do a little bit better.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Virginia beat Stanford 48-10.
Yeah, Stanford sucks.
I don't think there's anything
Stanford
else.
and Indiana, the two teams I probably hate the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Washington knocked off Washington State. No surprise there. Let's see if I can pull it.
Boise State beat Air Force. Good for Boise State. They lost the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And no one's really talked about them, but they are still a fun team to watch. Surprised that they were actually on a Saturday. Usually they're a Friday game. So maybe they'll be on this Friday.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll look at next week's games in just 1 second once it loads.
We got to get up early next week to go.
I know.
We're going to the Georgia-Alabama game, and we are bringing two friends of mine who have never been to an SEC game, let alone like an SEC conference game, let alone one this freaking huge.
It doesn't really get much bigger.
It doesn't. We got to get up early to kind of show them, like, hey, look, I know you're a Big Ten guy. Down here in the South, we're drinking at like 8 a.m.
Yeah, it's on, basically. All right, so Army's taking on East Carolina Thursday night. How come we can't get a good Thursday night game?
I don't know, man. It's been that way for the last few weeks. I've been kind of bummed. You used to always get one good Thursday, and then you were always getting that Big Ten game on Friday nights. That was like their thing. It was like Big Ten Friday nights were the number one show in town on Friday nights. I mean, you're going to have Florida State, Virginia. It's going to be a blowout. You got TCU, Arizona State. They beat Baylor last night overtime, so they've kind of righted the ship a little bit. TCU should be a tough game for them, a Big 12 conference game. But I'll watch that Florida State game, and that'll be a game that I think people should watch. You can take it for $61. I'll watch that, just kind of see like how Florida State's looking. They're rolling. I want to see them handle a very inferior opponent in conference.
Yeah, basically have the game won by the end of the first quarter, kind of thing. Yeah. Let's see. USC's taking on Illinois. It's a noon game for them, Central Time.
Don't let Indiana beat you twice.
That's right.
This has got to be a get-right game for Illinois. They've got to be more physical at the line of scrimmage, especially on the offense. I know defensively they lost like 8 freaking corners, so that might be tough covering all those wideouts USC has.
Yeah. Tech's got Wake Forest at noon on the road. Notre Dame's going to Arkansas.
Who's scheduling games for Arkansas,
I don't
man?
know, man. They're trying to get him fired. Is what they're trying to do.
Dude.
Terrible. Last week was a terrible scheduled game. You do not do a home and home with a team that is not in the Power 5. You do not do it. And
they're not the only ones who've done that.
I know.
And it's kind of dumb.
And it seems like at least once or twice a season, somebody pulls that stunt and they end up losing a game they shouldn't lose.
To me, that's 2 ADs that are buddies.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, let's set something up,
Yeah.
But that's dumb.
Yeah.
Cool for Notre Dame fans. Cool
Yeah.
for Arkansas fans.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame at home. Notre Dame fans get to travel. Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Good for the fans.
That's right.
All right. As a season ticket holder myself,
Would love to help.
I like going. I don't care too much about the FCS opponents, the cupcakes. I like to say, all right, look, we're going to go to this place.
Yeah.
This team's coming here. I like to go to those games, especially the non-conference games, but against Power 5 opponents that you might not normally get to see.
That's right. Let's see. Vanderbilt's got Utah State coming to town. It's a 12:45 start on Saturday.
Auburn. Well, no, actually, that first game, LSU, Ole Miss at 3:30. That'll be a really good game.
And
Auburn at Texas A&M. God, man, Auburn got kind of a shaft on the schedule as well.
Yep. Utah, West Virginia at 3:30. Indiana, Iowa at 3:30 as well. We got a lot of good games.
A lot of good games at 3:30, so we'll be many beers deep by that point.
Yeah.
Get
Tennessee,
a couple of meals in.
Mississippi State, the undefeated.
Mississippi State's not a bad football team. They're putting up some points, and they can play a little bit of scrappy defense.
Yeah, and Tennessee's coming to town. And what was it? It's biscuits and gravy at Pony. I kind of wish I was in Starkville going on Saturday night. Anyway, Arizona at Iowa State, 7 o'clock. Oh, what else we got here? Two of the big games of the night. Oregon at Penn State, 7:30. Huge game, huge ramifications. And just a little game in Athens. Alabama at UGA, 7:30 start. $453.
That's an expensive ticket.
Yeah.
Massachusetts going into Missouri, going into Como.
That's right.
The night games, I would like to be able to watch that Oregon Penn State game, but I'll be in the game, so obviously
you'll see the updates.
We'll be they'll show the updates, and maybe if there's like a sustained break for whatever reason, injury, or whether they'll play the game on the big screen for a little bit.
That's right.
But that 3:30 slot, at noon, there's a couple of decent games at noon. But that 3:30 slot's gonna be jam-packed. Luckily, we'll have multiple TVs going at the same time, so we'll probably have each game on a TV kind of.
Here it might be a little cooler this weekend too, so maybe the summer heat's going to pass us by finally. Kentucky, South Carolina, 7:45. Both of these teams need to win. Mm-hmm. That really concludes next week's slate of games. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be another great week.
That's right. You guys have a good day, and we'll try it again next Sunday.
See ya.